Everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 16 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro Max and see which particular iPhone is the better one for you. Now, clearly I would probably say in every single way I can imagine, the iPhone 11 Pro Max just really isn't as great of a phone as the iPhone 16 Pro. The 16 Pro, basically in every single way I can imagine, is going to be the better phone here, and that's just kind of what ends up happening. But I will still tell you, with a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it still is like a decent phone for a lot of people, and I'm sure if you had to go and buy a device, I'm sure you'd probably be okay with it. So if you want to pick up either one of these phones though, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these devices, the iPhone 11 Pro Max that came out back in 2019, on the front side of this phone is giving you a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And the thing I can definitely tell you about this particular device is that it is a pretty good looking panel. Right? It's not a perfect panel. There's definitely, things that aren't really the best looking thing in the world with this panel, but it gets the job done, and I do think that's a pretty interesting thing. It's fairly large, so that might be a big, asset for some people who want a bigger size display, and that's kind of all that you're getting with this type of phone. The thing with this device is that it's a pretty basic type of panel, so that's kind of one big thing to keep in mind. But also, it's a 60 hertz panel. It doesn't have an always on display. It's pretty lackluster in a majority of ways, but it still is like a decent display when it kind of comes down to it. Now, on something like the iPhone 16 Pro, this phone is giving you a 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this one is just a little bit smaller technically than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but this panel is also very, very nice. This type of panel I personally do actually like a lot. It's a very, very good panel, 120 Hz display. It does get significantly brighter than the iPhone 11 Pro Max as well, which is another big asset. And with a phone panel like the iPhone 16 Pro, this is a really good display, and that is by far one of my favorite things going on with this type of phone. So if you are looking for a phone in the market, definitely the 16 Pro's panel is way better than the iPhone 11 Pro Max's. On top of that, flat side and a better build quality on the iPhone 16 Pro. 11 Pro Max has this curved side, which still looks good, but definitely the flat side is more modern. You're getting a camera button and an action button on the iPhone 16 Pro, which is genuinely a really, really cool thing to have there too. You're getting a USB Type-C port on the iPhone 16 Pro, which in and of itself is probably one of the biggest advantages for the iPhone 16 Pro. I mean, going from Lightning to, the USB Type-C port is a massive upgrade, and this in and of itself could be a massive reason why you should go and upgrade to that type of device, because it is really that big of a difference in my personal opinion. So from that side, I will tell you that's a big upgrade. On the back side, you're getting frosted glass backs on both, triple camera setups on the top left corner of both of these, which is always nice to have. MagSafe capability on the middle of the iPhone 16 Pro. The 11 Pro Max does not have it. And beyond that though, they both feel very expensive. They're both very, very good feeling phones for the most part, which is something I like a lot. But definitely if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, something like the iPhone 16 Pro is probably the one that's going to be more of a flagship when it comes down to it. That is the device that I'd look at as probably being the better one in almost a majority of ways than something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, to be honest. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now on top of that, some other very big things to keep in mind is the price tag. The iPhone 16 Pro is a $1,000 phone right now. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is basically it's barely even probably like a $300 phone. So because of that, you're going to be getting a significantly better performing device in almost every single way from something like the iPhone 16 Pro than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. But the iPhone 11 Pro Max is going to be the cheaper device here. So that might be one thing to kind of keep in mind there from that perspective, that if you are wanting the device that's going to be a cheaper device, you might be able to get that from something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So keep that in mind there too. Now on top of that, when it comes down to the camera setups, both of these phones are going to be giving you triple camera setups, a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens. However, these camera sensors are slightly different. So with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, this camera gets up to 2x zoom. The 16 Pro gets 5x zoom with the dedicated camera button, so you can zoom in way more on the 16 Pro. On top of that, 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both, but the iPhone 11 Pro or 16 Pro is giving you 4K at 120 frames per second. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is not really giving you that type of capability. On top of those things, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is missing out on things like cinematic mode. There's no macro mode on it. The 16 Pro is definitely giving you all that type of capability, which is genuinely a very nice type of asset to have inside of that device too. So once again, if you're going to go through and like pick up a device from that perspective, you are for sure getting a way better performing device in almost every single way from something like the iPhone 16 Pro on a camera front than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I think the iPhone 11 Pro Max's camera is still decent. Like if you needed to use a camera, like it still gets the job done. But in every single way I can imagine, definitely something like the iPhone 16 Pro is a better camera here for sure. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now on top of that, when it comes down to the whole entire software longevity, without a doubt in almost every single way I can imagine, the iPhone 16 Pro is going to be a way longer lasting phone than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So once again, if you're wanting the phone that's going to be a longer lasting device here, it is going to be the iPhone 11 Pro Max in it is going to be the iPhone 16 Pro in almost every single way. And that is a really nice thing going on for that type of device, being able to go buy a phone like the iPhone 16 Pro and have it last for many, many years to come. The 11 Pro Max may have like another like 2 years of, software support ahead of it, but it's not really going to be lasting that much longer. And this in and of itself is probably going to be a downside when it kind of comes down to it. So personally for me, what I'll tell you is from that side, the iPhone 16 Pro wins. And even from the battery life perspective, the 11 Pro Max is rated for 20 hours of video playback, but the iPhone 16 Pro is rated for 27 hours of video playback. So that side as well, you're definitely going to be getting an overall faster, you're going to be getting an overall better performing battery life from something like the iPhone 16 Pro than for something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So the performance is also the same exact way as well. The iPhone 16 Pro is going to be giving you that Apple A18 Pro chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. The 11 Pro Max is basically giving you that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So you're getting twice the amount of RAM on the iPhone 16 Pro, but also you're just getting a way better performing battery life in almost every single way, and a better performing device. And just having a way better chipset like on the iPhone 16 Pro is such a massive asset. And if I'm going to go through and pick up a device, that is a really nice thing going on for that phone. On top of that, another very big thing for the iPhone 16 Pro is that ProMotion display. When you're going through and you're just using your phone on an everyday basis, you are definitely going to feel like the iPhone 16 Pro is a much smoother, faster performing device because of that ProMotion display. Even if they had the same chipset, if you're comparing 60 Hz to 120 Hz, this is without a doubt a really, really big difference. So that's why I look at something like the iPhone 16 Pro, and I'm such a massive fan of it because it really is such a big upgrade, coming from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So, in my personal opinion, if I'm going to look at something like the iPhone 16 Pro, and if I'm going to look at something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, in almost every single way you can imagine, the iPhone 16 Pro is a way better device. It's a way better looking phone, it performs better, the camera's better, the battery life's better, every single thing on that phone is significantly better. I think the only way the iPhone 11 Pro Max is slightly better is in the price tag standpoint. It is a cheaper phone, so that does kind of make it a little bit of a better device here and there, but other than that, in every single way you can imagine, the iPhone 16 Pro is a better device than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.